What's going on, YouTube? Listen, I wanted to share with you this little clip here. I think it's a pretty important clip to share with you guys for many reasons. So let's go ahead and check it out. I don't know why you teched there. I'm dead. He was nowhere near you. Don't know why I teched at all. He was nowhere near me. That's what I'm saying. So why did I tech in that situation to get myself killed? Now, that clip came from a set that I played the other night with Chris T, one of the best Kens to ever do it. And we're a lot of sets in, and I won't cap. I won't lie about it. I was getting a little washed, you know? I was mentally drained at this point. We're many sets in. I'm a little fatigued. I'm trying super hard to burn in all the mental energy that I have. And I got shimmied in a situation where he wasn't even near me. He did a slight walk forward, slight walk back. I teched the throw that I should not have teched. No throw came. I got shimmied and I lost half my life for that situation. Now, I was thinking about the situation because if I were to take Street Fighter and turn it instead into a turn-based game, right? Something that's not played out in real time. If I was just going to think about the strategy present in this situation here, looking at the resources, how I have about 40% left, he had full V-trigger and super. This was a turn-based game. I would never in a million years choose to throw tech in that situation, even if it was a mix-up, because my strategy would be, okay, if I guess wrong on the throw, I die. If I tech the throw, I'm back at neutral at best. So taking the throw here, if he goes for that option, would be much more preferred than dying to a shimmy. But in that moment, my hands did something that my brain didn't agree with. I was telling myself in my head during that moment in that match, do not reflexively tech, just go ahead and take the throw. But my hands saw the walk forward, that slight step forward, and my hands reflexively inputted throw tech. My brain said, don't do it. My hand said, sorry pal, we're teching this throw and getting you killed. What happened there? My reflexes betrayed me. And actually, in a lot of situations in fighting games, your reflexes are actually what gets you killed. And it's a pretty interesting dichotomy because for a lot of people, there's this big emphasis on reactions. Oh, you got to react to this, you got to react to that. People always overemphasize how important reactions are in fighting games. And I think if you have slightly above average reactions, it can help. But for the most part, almost everything in a fighting game that you're reacting to is reactable within average human reaction times. It's more about understanding what to focus on at the right moment and tunneling your vision on that exact thing that you're looking for in order to react to it. And most people can do that. If you're really sat down and try to focus on someone throwing a fireball to react to super, you can visualize it and react in time. You have the reflexes to do that. The problem is training your reflexes properly to respond to the right situation with the right answer. And also sometimes you train your reflexes incorrectly. And sometimes your reflexes just get the better of you. Sometimes you have a strategy, and instead of implementing that strategy, your reflexes take over and they make you do the wrong option, even though in your brain, in your conscious level thinking, you know this is the bad option. Your lizard brain, your internal brainstem component that controls all your motor reflexes says, nope, I'm gonna do the thing that I'm trained to do and ruin everything. And it happens all the time at all levels of play. And that's what happened to me in that clip. I had told myself don't tech, and I did it anyways. So this has actually been talked about a lot, like these two levels of thinking. It's like system 1 and system 2 thinking, which has been described in detail by Core A Gaming in this video analysis, Playing Fast and Slow. It's one of my favorite fighting game analysis YouTube videos from one of my favorite YouTube channels, period. And I highly recommend watching this. He goes over the system 1, system 2 level thinking kind of paradigm. The simple rundown is system 1 level thinking is reflexive thinking, things that you do immediately without having to think about it. And system 2 thinking is the more complex logical thinking where you're consciously working on that problem in your brain. In fighting games, you often have to juggle which things you're putting into the system 1 tier, which things you're putting into the system 2 tier. For example, things like anti-airs. A lot of people talk about anti-airs being hard to do when you're new, but for a lot of advanced players, you don't have to think to anti-air. It's in your system 1 thinking because it's been trained to be put there reflexively, and you just reflexively anti-air. And for some people, teching a throw when a person walks into range for a throw is system 1 level thinking. They don't think about it, they just react to the situation, and the stimuli of the throw situation being there forces their hands to press the throw tech, and sometimes they tech the throw, sometimes they get shimmied and died for it. And so the problem is, when you push something to your system 2 level thinking, a strategy, you need to shut off sometimes your system level 1 training. So I was trying to tell myself in this situation, don't tech the throw, but my system 1 training to reflexively tech did it anyways. And I was like, that's how I know I'm tired at this point, and I'm mentally drained, and I maybe need to take a break at that point because my reflexes are taking over and making bad decisions. However, it's not just being shimmied, which is a very common example of people who, a very common trap that people fall into where their reflexive habits get them killed. Even though they're responding really quick and reacting fast, it's a bad thing to do. There's a lot of other situations where this applies as well. So I wanted to cover a few common ones. So this example is something that I personally went through, and it might apply to you in different forms and with different character matchups, but I had this issue for the longest time with Birdie. So Birdie has this jump medium kick, which allows Birdie to press the jump fairly early in the arc and hit pretty down low, which means you kind of have to react pretty early to get the anti-air. If I'm late on the medium punch, there's a high chance it'll beat my anti-air or stuff it entirely. And so it forces you to respond pretty early to Birdie. With that said, Birdie also has other jump options, of course. He has jump heavy kick. So this move is different than the jump medium kick in that you can press this very, very late in the jump arc in order to bait out early anti-airs. So this becomes a mix-up between the jump medium kick being the early jump in, which you need to respond very fast to anti-air, or the jump heavy kick. If I anti-air the jump heavy kick late, it's not really a problem, right? I'll just anti-air it, no problem. However, if I press it early, my anti-air just gets smoked. And in the heat of the moment in a match, where as a ROG player, if you play Balrog, you know this. You see someone go into the air, you're reflexively pressing standing medium punch 99.999% of the time. You don't think about it at all. You're focusing on the ground game, and when they go up, you press standing medium punch without thinking. This used to get me killed so much when playing Birdie. I would be playing a super strong, solid ground game, focusing on keeping them out, not letting Birdie get in to get his command throw mix-ups going. And I would blow it all away, ruin the round, because in the blink of an eye, he would go into the air, I would reflexively press standing medium punch, and then he would just fall on top of me with the jump heavy kick, get the combo to the corner, and destroy me from there. I lost so many games doing that, and I would be telling myself, stop doing that. Don't do the anti-air. It took a lot of conscious retraining of my reflexes to get that reflex out of my system. I had to consciously think really hard about not doing something because my hands wanted to do it so bad from years of training myself to just have that system level 1 thinking of just, they go off, I press medium punch without thinking. Instead, in this matchup, if they do a jumping like that, you do late crouching fierce punch. You can just kind of hold back and press crouching fierce punch really late in order to stop that. Or, if you're on point, do the upper. So I had other options, but it took so much explicitly yelling at myself inside my head, like, oh, you idiot, why did you do that again? To fight my hands. My brain and my hands were in a battle with each other for control of the moment. And for the longest time, my hands were winning, but slowly, I got to the point where I could actually consciously think in the moment and control what I'm doing. So I'm sure this happens to a lot of people in certain matchups, like maybe like dive kick matchups like Cammy with her dive kick, things like that. You have to train yourself to not immediately respond with your common option because you have to think about the current situation a little bit deeper than you usually have to. This, I think, is the #1 example of someone's reflexes being trained horribly wrong to the point where it leaves them incapable of properly playing the game. It's really a huge pet peeve of mine when I see players exhibit this habit, and I've tried my hardest to break this habit against certain players when I see them. I'm controlling Ryu here. We're gonna have Balrog just, do a jump in and chill out. You might assume that the Ryu player would anti-air with crouching fierce, or maybe DP even better. But there's a class of Ryu player who has trained themselves to react to jump-ins solely with Ryu's V-skill parry. It blows my mind that they do this, because if you do this, you don't get any guaranteed punish on the jump-in, but maybe you can go for a throw mix-up, right? That's an option. But, you know, they can just also tech the throw. So you get no guaranteed damage or pressure from parrying in a situation where you could get guaranteed damage and pressure by doing a crouch fierce or a DP even better, right? Now, the reason why this reflex is so bad is because when they catch on to what you're doing, they can just empty jump. So I've showed you 3 different situations here. They do jump in and into block, jump in into throw tech, or jump in into empty jump, into a full combo. Parry kind of gets reward on 2 of these scenarios, like you could potentially frame trap them. But in the 3rd scenario, you just get destroyed. The risk reward on this is so bad when all they have to do is train their reflexes from, instead of doing parry in that situation, they just need to do DP. DP beats all of these options. You empty jump, it doesn't matter. You jump in with a button, it doesn't matter. If you're ready to anti-air the DP, the dragon punch here, it'll beat all of them. This should be your reflex in this situation. It also helps, you can even beat the cross-ups if you learn how to cross-cut, right? This is a situation where I see players who do this every time reflexively, and no matter how many times you empty jump in their face and then crush counter them, they can't break away from the reflex during the set because this has been ingrained into their system 1 level thinking to the point where they have no control of it. They can't help it. If they see you go up, they press parry. It's just how it is. So I'm sure after the fact they recognize like, oh man, that's getting me killed. But changing your habits like that and changing what you've trained yourself to do reflexively can be very, very difficult. So even if you're reacting fast appropriately, if you train yourself to do something weird, it can get you killed over and over. So in a lot of situations, having fast reflexes can be very detrimental if the strategy doesn't align with it, or if you're not thinking through the situation and reining in your reflexes when they shouldn't be doing something. So that's how fast reflexes are not always great for fighting games. You need to be able to control yourself. And it goes for all of us. Like I said, I was getting smoked that one set. I teched when I knew I shouldn't have. No matter what, I should have just taken that throw. I reflexively did it. A lot of the times in fighting games, we're in a battle with ourselves. Our brain is fighting our hands for control, and that's just how it goes sometimes. So if you have any examples of bad habits and bad reflexes that you had to deal with, or any habits that you notice other players have, please let us know in the comments. I'd love to hear what you had to say about that. And other than that, thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to the channel. We've been getting a lot of new viewers lately. I think only 40% of the new viewers are subscribed to the channel. So if you haven't subscribed already, I would really appreciate it, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.